What's going on, people?
What's happening then?
Yeah, you know how we do it. You know how we do it. It's Earth, it's Sky, it's the Earth and Sky Interactive people. What's good with ya? Yeah,
Talk to me, talk to me.
yes,
Yes, I
yes.
love it. Gotta put the
Rocking and
ear
rolling,
pod in, but I love it.
rocking and rolling, people.
Yes, 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 yes. You know what it is. We are back in this thing. You know what I'm saying? Swinging vines through the habitat. The journal jungleists are back. You know who it is. They lay the whole game flat up in this motherfucker with my Bernie Mac voice on. Anyways, you know it's your man G1, aka Earth, and that right there is my man.
G3 Sky.
Yes, never gets old. Never gets old.
Never that. Never
Never,
that.
never,
Never that.
never.
Never that.
Hey man, what? Look, Sky. You know we didn't talked about these technical difficulties, man. How you doing over there, man? How's the flowage over there?
Yeah, flow just flowing. You know what I'm saying? Flow just flowing. You either go around, over, under, or through. You know what I'm saying? So
Factoid.
we jungle journalists, so we do what we do. You know what I'm saying? We swing that vine.
You feel me? Swinging it at all times, man. Look,
Indeed.
it's nobody said it was gonna be easy. This is the choice that we made. This is the path we
It's
chose,
the
and
contract
we.
we signed before we decide to jump in a meat
Woo,
suit.
come on, talk to him. Tell him about that contract.
The day. Look, that's a show unto itself. That topic would hijack the whole hour
Ooh,
with
the
no problem.
whole hour,
With no problem. Birth
easy.
contracts. Whoa.
Mm.
That's a completely now you want to talk about a different Oprah. That's a different Oprah. That's a different Phil Donahue. That's a different Walter Cronkite. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? You could even throw Tim Brokaw in there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
literally that,
Tommy
yeah,
Tom Brokaw.
Tommy Tom. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, yeah, bro. That's different. But yeah, we chose it as hard as it is to swallow, as hard as it is to, you know, to deal with. Yes, we chose all the ish and all the fun that we go through before we
Yes.
got here. Look, just so Source can have knowledge of an experience.
Come on, bruh. Look. You don't know that you spent no money until you get a receipt. You don't get that receipt. Somebody got you. Somebody took. And look, the universe will not be took. It
No,
will not be took for a ride. It will not be hoodwinked, bamboozled. None of that.
none,
None of that.
not nan, nutta. Look,
Not nan nutter.
it's getting all it's getting all of its whatever it is, all of it
Mm.
and some.
Yeah. Oh
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Oh
That's why
yeah.
the universe knows nor good nor bad. It just knows energy. And what you
Yep.
do with that energy is what you do with that energy, because once again, it's all an experience had. It all goes back to source at the end of the day.
Yep.
So, but before the energy topic hijacks the show.
Because you know it will. Look, hey, and I'm gonna just put this out there. I want to let you sit hit that part. If y'all want to know more, hit us in the comment with that one right there, because we will let you know if that's a topic that y'all want to get into. Let us know. If you want to get into other topics, let us know. You know what I'm saying? We'll do our interactive on it. So you know what I'm saying. Just so you know, if you want to know about birth contracts, if you want to know about you know what I'm saying, energy, if you want to know about readings, if you want to know about understanding insights from the spiritual realm, you know what I'm saying? If you want to remove that veil and get to the real, holla at my man.
Oh yeah.
He
I mean,
got you.
we could even do on air readings. Trust, I ain't gotta be in front of you.
Mm.
Believe that. We can do on air flowage. I can do a little one card, three card for you if you like. That's definitely not a problem right here on the Earth and Sky Interactive Live and Direct. No
Live and
worries,
direct.
people. we can make that happen because right now
Yeah.
a lot of things is going on. Oh, and by the way, people, just before we get into our topic of the evening, there is a extremely powerful solar flare that is coming. It'd be here, what it said, about an hour and some change. So probably in about an hour. If your power doesn't work, if your electronics are having glitch issues, it's not your electronics, it's the grid itself. It's about to get beat up with a very large solar flare. So you might not sleep well tonight. You might have stomach issues. You might have some aches and pains that you might not have had. Uh, if you're sleeping or trying to go to sleep, if you do go to sleep, you may have some really lucid dreams. So, you might want to keep a notepad by the bed because you might dream some stuff and you definitely gonna want to know about what you dreamt about. So
Write it down.
journal that, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it'll make sense later. You know what I'm saying? It'll make sense later. Trust me, like right now, you're not meant to know because you're not meant to. You got to raise up to that altitude where you can see how your energy's flowing and going. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the readings, yeah, need to get you one. Get you one. Holla at family. Holla at my riddle.
You heard?
You dig?
But you've got the floor, my good Rilla. You've got some good that you got going on that you want to creep up into, and we're gonna smash it, break it down, smack it, or flip it, then rub it down, and then we're gonna take it down to the infinitesimal rabbit hole level.
Man, I'm trying to figure out which one I want to start with first. And let's keep it all real. Both of them have to do a racial injustice. You know what I'm saying? But there's going to be some other things we might tie in to talk about, some other things that tie into these issues. But definitely want to keep you guys abreast of what may possibly be some of the next distractions that'll be used at least on a local level, not a global level, but more localized, you know what I'm saying, nationwide, but not international. Okay. One I think is I think it's a good talk, a good distraction by our greatest distractors, which would be the NFL, the National Football League, with Commissioner Roger Goodell. So, wanted to rap about this one because it says NFL chief urges franchises to sign controversial quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Boy, I wish I could have a bomb sound effect or something, boy, just right there, because why is this coming back into? See, that's how you know when a distraction is on the horizon. Okay, that's how you know breaking news. That's how you know a distraction is on the horizon. See, our breaking news is telling you what everybody else is about to get to later on. Okay, so needless to say, why are we now talking about Colin Kaepernick being signed to any of the franchises? And bigger than that, why is Roger Goodell, the chief, the big boss, the big draw wearing, the never pants sagging over at the NFL, wanting to have this conversation again? Well, people, I got my glasses on. You know what that means? That means I'm going to read something to you. Yes, it does. So, kids, strap on in and let's go ahead and get into story time. Once again, what we're talking about here is the NFL chief, okay, has said that they want to go ahead and sign Colin Kaepernick. They want to get Colin Kaepernick signed again. So he's lobbying. Now listen to this. Commissioner Roger Goodell said he would encourage any team to consider the possibility. Now, even in that, there's no definite. Just to let you know, he would encourage, which means I encourage you guys to consider, not to actually do it, to consider the possibility of giving Kaepernick a route back into the NFL after 5 years. Now, let me tell you something. Listen to what he said, a route back into the NFL after 5 years. Let me tell you something. They did this before, right? They did this before. They gave them a route to get back in. You know who they did that to? Another famous quarterback. And he was black too. Yeah, got caught fighting dogs. Well, maybe not him, but the people he was associated with. Watch the people. You got to watch you keep them around with you and make sure they do what they're supposed to do. Yeah, go back and listen to that firm. You'll catch what I'm saying on that song. Never personal. Nowadays, it's the ways. So, listen. He's encouraging these teams to sign Colin Kaepernick to get him back into the NFL, a route. They did the same thing to Mike Vick after he got caught fighting dogs, right? After he got out of jail, did his 2-year time frame. Of course, he lost a step because these guys are robotic nowadays, and you can't miss a beat with these guys or you're going to be out of sync, okay? And so they're now trying to get him back in on the same route to success. You know what I'm saying? But
Well,
who's
it's
Go
not difference in the two. Mike Vick was associated with people.
right?
He never did anything. He was associated with those. He was an accomplice, an accessory. So he did his time.
Right.
And of course, when you actually do criminal time, you have a better chance of getting back into anything.
Right.
Colin Kaepernick will not be back in the NFL. He won't. Because basically he's going to kneel again. And once that happens, basically all hell will break loose. So I guess if the NFL wants ratings, a team will be told, not asked, told to sign him for the purpose of ratings. But other than that, he will not be back in the NFL. He should have been back in the NFL already. So think about it this way. We didn't even have nowhere near what's going on then going on now. Civil liberties of all peoples are being infringed upon. This is a war against humanity as a whole.
Yeah.
So why in the world now would you bring someone back who basically is literally going to do exactly what he did before? Now, mind you, some teams do not come out during the playing of the national anthem. Not all teams do. It's not mandatory. It's not mandated that you come out during. Some teams don't. They come out after. A lot of teams come out during. So he goes to a team that comes out during, and what is he going to do? Every camera in the world, every phone in that stadium is going to be fixed on Colin Kaepernick. And let's just keep that 1,000.
Yep.
So at that point, he even dips a little bit, even if he doesn't go down on full bended knee. There is going to be so much flack and backlash. See, all of these players, if you haven't noticed here lately, a lot of players are testing positive for that thing. I'm not going to go there because basically I'm tired of getting shadow banned. But they're testing positive for that thing. And these people have taken the thing so they wouldn't, and they still are. And you're going to see that in a lot of sports.
How does that happen?
So sports as a whole is about to take a major hit. Okay, just so y'all people know. So if he is allowed back in, so when the president of the league says, basically, I'm co-signing on the fact that if any of you teams out there want to bring him back, I'm going to open up the door and try to facilitate that deal the best way I can. Okay,
Right.
So people, you have to realize he took it to court. He took them to court for collusion, which basically means they ganged up on him and kept him out. the court case settled, he got an undisclosed amount of money that no one knows how much money he really got. But you ain't heard him hurting for loot in the past 5 years, have you?
Not with that multi-million-dollar deal he did with Nike.
You did, dude. No. The NFL broke him off with a nice 8-digit figure.
Oh yeah, well we know that happened. I was just talking about the cherry on top of the ice.
But I mean, you see what I'm saying? So I mean, it's like the man's not hurting for money. His lifestyle has not changed. He even said yes, you know, to his answer to, of course, the new statement by the commissioner, Roger Goodell. I still wake up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock every morning, and I still do my stuff because I want to, you know, I don't want it to, you know, I'm not going to diminish my dream. Like y'all gonna have to, like, you know, give me my propers, and I'm still ready to take a team to back to the Super Bowl. Okay. Unless now, mind you, we're talking about bringing him back into the league, right? If he took a knee, what are the chances he took that thing so that way he's not Cam Newton Jr.? Do you see what I'm saying?
He is definitely gonna have to take that thing. But
look though, if he did, he'll get jumped on. If he didn't, he'll get jumped on. So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Either way,
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's a media shitstorm. Any way you cut it. And look, the United States actually got brought up on charges, people. 5 of them. 5 of them for genocide. 5.
Brought up on charges by who?
Oh, bro, this was something that went into effect like a long time ago. It was first tried in the early 70s. It was done again and finally went through the UN. It just was in the news. Of course, if you weren't paying attention to it, trust me, they didn't make that like broadcast. But yes, it is factual. It is a thing, people. Look it up. The United States was brought up on 5 charges of genocide against indigenous peoples. 5.
Boys,
anything going to happen? Is the UN going to enforce anything? No. Is the US going to enforce anything? No. But it's kind of funny how the UN gets brought up on genocide charges. The US does, right? And then all of a sudden, Goodell in his now all of a sudden trying to come clean and purge his soul, wants to bring back Colin Kaepernick, and then says that yes, we've treated minorities unfairly. We've definitely done them dirty, and they changed the Rooney Rule again. For those of you who don't know what the Rooney Rule is, the Rooney Rule states that you have to interview minority candidates for coaching jobs in the NFL. Well, they just changed it again, and now they're incentivizing teams to interview and hire minority coaches. So it's kind of crazy how the United States, 5 charges of genocide. I'm not even going to go into the word genocide. Look it up. It'll blow your mind. All right. Now you bring in the cleansing of one's soul and bring back Colin Kaepernick. And Jay-Z gets put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Look at the timing of all of this.
Oh yeah.
But
well,
Jay-Z,
you know, I wasn't gonna hop into that as quickly as you did, but you know, you like to go there, and I like to go there with you. So you know what I'm saying. Once again, you know, whenever you have a story that runs, and then later on you have both of those entities involved in that story. Really, if you want to look at it, all 3, because in this you know, clip that I'm reading from you right now is Goodell speaking on Kaepernick, and then in the Hall of Fame we've got Jay-Z that just gets inducted. So all of this happens. So is this some additive that goes along with wherever you see Jay-Z and wherever we talk sports, this is a chance to ride that coattail. You know what I'm saying? To further boost who he is.
Well,
Or
he's
is
a
it
part of
just
the NFL. You know that, right?
what?
He's a part of the NFL. He works for the NFL. He
Oh
works
yeah.
in conjunction with the NFL.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah. That's yeah.
Rock Nation works in conjunction, which is why the halftime show
Right. Yeah.
is what it is.
Well, I mean, for him to, hop up in there and just start, slinging it around like, hey, you know what? We're past this and we're past that, in his part of that whole can't we all just get along? So he pulled a Rodney King on their ass and they didn't even know it. So now, you know what I'm saying? He's propelled every time this is going on. Jay-Z's angling to get a team. That's what he's trying to angle to do. So they're going to give him ownership of a team. They're not going to give him full ownership. They're going to do him just like they did him when he was actually dealing with the situation,
Nets.
bringing the Nets to Brooklyn.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They gave him a piece of 1% of a share. You know what I'm saying? Which is absolutely nothing. It's a facade. It is something that you put on, just like you said about Kaepernick, to get those ratings. So let's say that Kaepernick gets those ratings that they know that he can get. It's going to be like Lynch, Marshawn Lynch going back to Seattle for that one game. You know what I'm saying? On his way out the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he gets like maybe one or two pops, one or two snaps, and the next thing you know, he's gone. So it's the same situation. Here's the thing, though. I can't believe that Roger Goodell actually went to this point of it. And I think this is going to be one of those things that really doesn't get focused on, but it should. But they're not going to put this on media a great deal. And if I'm wrong, I'd love to be wrong on this one. But he says, we, the National Football, and I quote, Roger Goodell says, we, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of Black people. He said, then they have it. Wow. Okay. Then he said, right, huh?
So the wording is interesting.
Yeah. Well, see what then he says, we, the National Football League, believe Black Lives Matter. I personally protest with you and want to be a part of the much needed change in this country. Goodell added, without Black players, there would be no National Football League. He is pouring it on.
Look, we all know that's a lie. It would exist. It would not be as entertaining, but it would exist. So I mean, we can just keep that 1K again. Nobody look. The ratings wouldn't be nowhere near as good. Nowhere near as good. You know what I'm saying? The ratings would be bad if there were no quote unquote indigenous people. Did your earpods go dead? Did your earbuds go dead?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody called in and it just messed the whole thing
that messes up the
whole.
whole.
Give me 1 second.
That messes up the whole.
Keep talking, man.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, people, you got to realize that there's always an overlay for the underplay. Always an overlay for the underplay. And when that happens, you've then got to really have discernment. You have to know how to read between the lines, as they say. Because if you don't know how to read between the lines, you know what I'm saying? It becomes an issue. Because there's got to be something bigger, a bigger story. Look at all the hoopla that was had about Colin Kaepernick before. Look at everything that went on with him, with everything that happened. Think about it, though. Think about it, people. That's major, because what happens is when he did what he did, and mind you, it's not like he beat somebody, smacked somebody. It's not like he drove his car 152 miles an hour in Vegas down a road and then hit a car. Yeah, hit a car. And look, he hit the car, and when the airbags popped out, the black box in the car said the impact happened at 127. He didn't do any of that. he took a knee for what he deemed to be just. Now, mind you, he made a moral statement, and basically it was something that was against the social norms. Hence, cancel culture got him. So it's awfully funny how Dave all of a sudden is canceling cancel culture. Dave Chappelle, that is, people. And now all of a sudden, now you want to bring now it's let's open up the door again. Now it's time to let's open our arms too. When, okay, if it happened before, it's going to happen again.
Yep.
Is the NFL ready to deal with that type of media, or is the NFL really hurt? Because I'm going to tell you what right now, Irv, the NFL is hurting for quality quarterbacks. People aren't watching. Ratings are down because there's a lot of rookie quarterbacks in the game right now. A lot of the mainstream quarterbacks aren't playing well, and there's injuries.
Or at all.
Think about it.
Hello?
Oh, dude, these quarterbacks are getting hurt left and right, but yet and still, Cam didn't get a call. Cam is done, and again, Cam did something he thought was a moral statement that he made, and then retracted that statement for nothing. Oh, but then you have
and got the Jimmy.
But then you have a Hall of Fame quarterback who states to the media that I was immunized, and they took it at face value. They didn't look any deeper into the fact that he was immunized. And now he tests positive. And now he's got to sit out for 10 days. Okay, so I'm still waiting for a penalty on that one. Like, where's the flag? I'm wearing a yellow shirt. Where's the flag, yo? Where's the flag?
Ain't coming. It ain't coming.
No, it ain't.
It ain't coming because that's
repercussions for
right. Because that's what we're talking about.
For his indiscretion by saying
transgression.
I was immunized.
Right.
So the team wanted him back so bad that they was just like, he's immunized. But Colin Kaepernick, he didn't kill nobody. He didn't catch no thingy thing. We don't know if he took that thingy thing. If he comes back, it's gonna be known, because you best believe what just happened in Green Bay. If an example is not made of that team or that player, which I doubt it will, the league will tighten up. I mean, tighten up. Because if he got through, what's to say that somebody else didn't get through? And then what's to say somebody in the NBA or NHL or MLB or MLS,
right,
say I was immunized, and seeing that I have a big enough name, I said I was immunized, and you're not going to question me.
So what does that mean in the whole regards of everything that we're talking about? It means that there's always going to be the rhetoric that race is important to everybody, when in fact it is not important. And in fact, if you want to listen, Goodell's added what he said about without black players, there would be no National Football League. Well, technically we realize that is the case. I mean, because without black players, black coaches, and all the other black contributions that come to that sport, we already know that, guess what? Just the game itself would be boring as shit. You would go back to, once again, the fundamental, you know what I'm saying, 1, 2, 3, 4, buckle my shoe a little more, type of gameplay, to where everybody is doing what they're doing. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not to say that it would be, a total bust, but it would literally be one of those things to where it's like, why am I watching this after? No, it wouldn't at all. Not in the least bit. It would be entertaining. It would be more so one of those things, like if you started watching NBA and you took all the black players out of the NBA. Well, I mean, it would be this old conversation.
Well, look at the NBA before the ABA. The ABA was much more. The ABA started taking market share from the NBA. Why? The NBA said you can't dunk. Can't dunk. No trickery. No behind the back passes. We play again, like you said, fundamental ball, and we pass and we chest pass, and we do. Now, mind you, having the fundamentals is what you need to have in order to truly be good in the game. I get it. But when you can still have fundamentals, but still, again, you're being paid, you are an entertainer, you are supposed to be a show person. You are supposed to be out there entertaining. The ABA took so much market share from the NBA that the NBA just started snatching up its players and said, oh, yeah, y'all can dunk again. Why? Because Dr. J was just like, oh, yeah, I didn't want a couple ABA titles. Again, they got him after he was truly primed.
Right.
But he still came in, did what he did for the league, and really helped the league at a time when the league was hurting, which is why they started to bring in the predominantly indigenous, quote unquote, aka black players from the ABA, because they were more entertaining. They packed seats. People wanted to see them play. You know what I mean? Think about it. Back in the day when the leather helmets, there were no indigenous people playing then.
No.
Leather helmet days.
Well, let's no. I'm not gonna rule it. In the early days, there wasn't, but then there started being more and more coming in, because you got to remember they were still back in the college days. They were still using leather caps. So
right,
they started getting them in there.
But they were very, very, very light-skinned indigenous folk, which basically tells me that they weren't fully indigenous folk. See what I'm saying? So again, it's one of those things to where it's like, when you look at it, would the league exist? Sure it would. Would it be as entertaining? Probably not, because you've already seen it. You can't have it and then take it away and be like, this is what we're going to give you now. Here you go. Because even those who are staunch supporters, and we just don't want Kaepernick in the league, and we just don't want and if all the indigenous players just walked out, they would watch just to spite people. This long.
I mean, this is the thing that we do in the league, in any league we play in. You know what I'm saying? Is we bring a certain savoir-faire to it. We bring a certain level of gameplay. We push the boundaries of what's possible, and we do it naturally. You know what I'm saying? So because we have this melanin gene power, it allows us to supersede the normal laws of physics to become much bigger and greater. That's what pushes the game forward. Then it's really our competitiveness against ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Against us. Like, it's not us against, it was never really Larry Bird against Magic Johnson. It wasn't. It was really more so Larry Bird was just there, and Magic Johnson was really going. They had to put them two together during that time frame. But it was really always Magic Johnson against, any of the other melanated, indigenous people, aka black players in the league. And it's always been that way for one key reason: because we push us. In other words, until number 42 came in, you know what I'm saying? Look at what baseball was. You see what I'm saying? Until that level of integration started, that's when they started seeing games that were more so, you know what I'm saying? Well, once again, we brought it to another level.
Roberto he even told people, I'm not special. Do you realize that the Negro Leagues have players that were 10 times better than me? And it's just a simple fact that I was the one who got chosen to come here. Why? Because he was more polished. One, his name is Roberto Clemente, which basically means that he's not, technically speaking, black. Yeah.
Who are you talking about? You talking about Clemente?
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about somebody else. I was talking about number 42.
Right, but I'm talking about back before 42, because he was before. 42. He was well before 42.
Right, but he wasn't a Negro. So that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? We talk,
but he was,
when we talk about,
he was melanated, and that's why he
that
was
don't count.
allowed.
That don't count. That don't count. That don't count. That don't count. Listen, if you're a white supremacist, but wait, if you're a white supremacist, and everybody in the game is like, yes, he would be accepted, but not a Negro. I'm not playing next to a Negro. You know that. I know that.
But now you see why I said, even he said, I'm not special. There are players 10 times better than me in the Negro leagues.
Right.
See, he couldn't come out and say, well, the only reason why I'm kind of here is because I'm not them. He couldn't say that. He had to open up the door. Somebody had to get in. Somebody had to kick the door in. Even though he was not a Negro, he had to play in the Negro leagues because there was nowhere else for him to play.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
right.
That flow. But at the same token, no, you're absolutely right. It's the fact but at least he was open enough to say it in a way that, like, look, I'm not special. There are others. Dude, they don't even know how old Satchel Paige was when he got to Major League Baseball. They don't know. No one knew Satchel Paige's real age. Nobody. That man could have been in his 50s and just got into Major League Baseball and handled business.
Yep.
And look at all the players before Satchel, during Satchel. Once again, the Negro, mind you, if the Negro Leagues weren't all that in a bag of chips, why did they have their own place in the Baseball Hall of Fame now? They couldn't keep them out. Like, damn, y'all, like, nobody was stealing home. Nobody. Roberto came in there. He was stealing home. He was doing some things. He added an element of speed that they had never liked. Wait a minute. They didn't have fast forward in film on TV back then. Black and white TV. He was like, how did they speed that up? He can't be that fast. And then you go to a game and be like, he's faster than what he is on TV. Oh my goodness. So it's crazy that you look. There have been pioneers, whether they were quote unquote indigenous, aka black people. They were melanated, quote unquote, people. There's always been the one that had to come in and kick the door in. You see what I'm saying? There was Mr. Triplett at Penn State who did it in college football. You see what I'm saying? Who really kicked the door in. Like, they was like, well, we're not playing this team. We're not playing this team because you got a Negro on your team. And we're not playing against you. And he was the only ink spot on the page. And I got to give it up to Penn State University because those players said, okay, no problem. We ain't playing. Either he plays or we don't play. And I was like, got to tip my hat to that. Hence why when you go on Penn State's campus right now, that's when they came up with the "We Are." And there's a big statue of it, beautiful thing at Penn State. And you see it, it says "We Are." And that's where that came from because they stood together as a team and said, either he plays or we don't play. And anybody else got a problem with it, we don't care. We don't care if the school don't like it, the coaches don't like it. We as the players play the game. We're not going to play without him.
Right.
First indigenous, aka black person drafted in the NFL. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's always that one. Notice this whole thing about Colin Kaepernick, and my man kind of light. But they look, they trying to run Kyrie out of basketball. And Kyrie, my complexion. I'm just saying, is there a coincidence with this, people? Is there a coincidence with this? I mean, look.
Not at all.
It's a business. This is all a business at the end of the day. It's in the business of making fiat. Okay? So when it's in the business of being fiat, you have to think that they're willing to do anything by any means necessary to make that fiat. whether that's caused controversy, chaos, mayhem, confusion, as long as that fiat keep coming, they gonna keep you bamboozled, hoodwinked, run amok, and led astray. And they don't really care. Why? Because guess what they know? We've given them a product so long that regardless to what we do, they're still gonna come. They're gonna be like Eeyore. They're gonna bitch and complain and moan to their friends, to their family at the water cooler. On Sunday, you know where you're gonna be? In front of your TV. In the stadium, you're allowed to be in the stadium. See, they fully understand that, like, it's so ingrained in Americana that people can't live without it, when in all actuality, you could. If more teams were like the Penn State team back then, you want to talk about sports as a whole being completely different?
Right.
That was one college that did that. Just imagine if a professional football, do you understand? That's the Billionaires Boy Club in football. So like look, Roger Goodell works for them at the end of the day.
Right.
What it is. He's the commissioner. He works for them.
That's why you got to. That's why you got to look at the what he's talking about as far as the wording he uses. See, here's the thing, right? Listen to what he says. He says, if he wants to resume his career in the NFL, then obviously it's going to take a team to make that decision. Okay. But then he says, I welcome that support, a club making that decision and encourage them to do that. So this dude is encouraging. He's talking about, hey, I don't really have the authority to really make you do it. I can't mandate, but I can definitely say, you know what? Hey, I want him back in there. Let's begin the influence of rebirthing this dude's career. But I always have to ask, why? Why now? Why at this time? See, that's what leads me back to, oh, this is part of the distraction machine. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no talk about this last month, the month before that, the few months before that, But guess what else Colin Kaepernick has going on? He has a new special out on. See, he's playing the long game. He's playing, but after a while, he's not going to be worthy to get back on any team anyway. But with that, he's got the new thing on Netflix called. Let me find out what it's called for you. But it's a special with Colin Kaepernick that he's on there, and he's talking about basically, I guess, his experiences growing up as a little, young Colin Kaepernick. And with that, this dude is going through all the drama that he saw that kind of made him feel the way he did. See, what he's doing is playing the long game against the media. He's trying to be the $1 billion baby, but he's trying to do it through the hearts and, the emotions of the internet and the emotions of cancel culture and the emotions of the individuals who want to just understand. But here's the thing, right? At the end of the day, he understands that it's going to take a nation of millions to get him back. Okay? It's going to take a nation of millions to get him back in there. It's going to be a popularity call. But at the end of the day, the good old boy squadron, what you got something?
Colin in black and white.
Yeah, Colin in black and white. So if you can listen to that title, then you can see why we're having this conversation. Okay? Because he's trying to run this race thing as far as he can. You know what I'm saying? Whether, there's a lot of speculation if that was even really his intent when he did it, or if that was just one of those things that you just stumble into, and the next thing you know, hey, George Bush don't like black people. You know what I'm saying? For Kanye West. So, I mean, when you get to that type of situation where whether he did it or not, now he's full-fledged and doubling down on it. You know what I'm saying? This cat still got a check from the NFL, still got a check from Nike. You know what I'm saying? He's still getting other checks on top of that. Now he's got a special out.
Netflix wasn't free. That ain't free.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's you know what I'm saying. He's still getting checks. You know what I'm saying? He's still getting the checks, but at the end of the day, let's talk about it. This man is sticking to the script, and through court of public opinion, he's hoping to get some type of retribution, and we'll see what it is.
Well,
But as
he's
of right
already
now,
gotten retribution, and it's starting to make me think that in that deal that no one will ever see, that it flat out probably said, "Look, we're gonna give you some money. Hush it up. You gotta be gone for at least 5 years minimum. After the 5-year moratorium is up, we'll talk about getting you back in. We won't haggle as bad to get you back in. You see what I'm saying? Now you can say what you want, do what you want. Like he was supposed to have a tryout. Everybody was down to do it right, and people were down to show up. And then he moved the tryout to a high school football field away from where he was supposed to be, not even in the same town. You see what I'm saying? People had to scramble to all of a sudden get there. Why? Because that was a sideshow. It was a sideshow. He was never going to get back in. So the more and more this goes on, the more I'm seriously starting to think in that little deal he signed, he had to wait a certain amount of time before they let him back in. Sworn to never talk about it, one, ever, first and foremost.
right,
Two,
right.
broke off they gave him the bag. Because when you say collusion, and you're and you took the Billionaire Boys Club to court and they broke you off. The Billionaires Boys Club don't just give you the bag. They give you the bag back. Because basically they got to make sure, and then you go find it, and then you throw it in the ocean. You take it to the Marianas Trench and you drop it. And you watch it fall in sonar until it just bloops off the damn screen.
Right.
So will he be back in the league? Doubt it. But I think there was something in that contract, bro. I think there was something in there when he signed, when he got that check, when he got the bag. And
yeah.
You know.
And but the bad part about it is we'll never really know what that is until it's something that he can talk about, or he decides to go against the grain and break it, which probably will be next in November. Never. You know what I'm saying? And with that, I mean, the dude is like, just pushing the envelope. I mean, is it clear what he wants? Is it clear what he's trying to accomplish right now? I don't think it is. And I think it's because he knows that, hey, if I'm not going to play anymore, I get to at least talk about whatever situations I want to talk about. I can still stay relative. I still have a platform, and now I can use my platform. Because here's what kind of throws me off about the whole situation. They still associating this dude with the afro. I wish.
Because he still rocks.
Right. I
He
wish.
didn't rock it in college, though.
Huh?
He didn't rock it in college.
Right. So here's my thing. He wasn't rocking it in the first few years that he was in the league. He never rocked it until this scenario. You know what I'm saying? Now he's got the blowout, and I'm like, dude, I'm so sick and tired of that. Yeah, I'm so sick and tired of that. Because if you notice, when they did that, they just tried to dress him in black every time you see him. They still doing it. Like black this, black that. Dude, you are not that dude. I mean, to me, he's not that dude.
But look though,
he could be on the low.
But look though. Okay, as above, so below, right?
Fact.
Could they be putting him and making sure he wears all black, hence labeling him the black sheep?
That's a good look. I mean, I don't know how much that would be in regards to.
Now, mind you, if you don't read between the lines, you wouldn't get it. But think about it. He was, and the man ain't played in 5 years and is the black sheep of the NFL. That's why I don't think he will ever be back. Okay, if you're a media guy, you're a PR person. You're the head PR person for the team that gets him. Either you're asking for a quadruple pay raise or you quit. Why? Because the media is going to be all up in your cookies. Look, bro. The media is going to drink your milkshake. Every day that you wake up, every day you go to work, every day that you do anything, as long as he is on your team, the media is going to drink the PR person's milkshake.
But see, you got one other thing to think about too, though, is do the loudest vocal group in their entourage of people who watch the NFL, are they going to welcome him back in? What kind of trumpet are they going to sound off on? And that's white America. How is white America going to respond to whatever team? And when I say whatever team, I'm talking about the local team that is the local people that are around that team that he gets, even talks about. So if let's say they announce a team, right? They announce a team, say, yeah, he's going back to play for Milwaukee, or going back to play for Minnesota, all right? Or he's going to play for Minnesota. Minnesota is now going to rise up. Those people
in sports, right?
I know.
Next to Green Bay,
it's the only one that came to mind. I promise I didn't plan that shit.
Spirit working through you, Marilla.
Spirit is definitely working through me, because I picked that one out the hat.
That is the second most, next to the state next door.
Right. So, I mean, think about it. All right, we're talking about the PR guy needing that 4-time, that 10X. He's needing that Grant Cardone 10X, you know what I'm saying, for that pay he's got to do. But the scrutiny that whole, because here's why, right? Here's why. Because here's listen what he said, right? When he talks about the systematic, here's what Goodell said. Yes. Yeah, no, well, here's what Goodell said. Goodell said, I want to go verbatim because I don't want to just try and, let's say. So he said, we, the National Football League, condemn racism and any systematic oppression of Black people. Okay, so he understands that there is a system in place to keep Black people downtrodden. So he recognizes that. He recognizes a lot of things in this, but he recognized that there's a system in place, right? So as long as that system is in place, you have those that detract, which he sounds more like a detractor from that system at this point, or unless he's doubling down really on the low of what he really is about, or he's the vocal type that's like, no, we're not going to good. Matter of fact, ticket sales are going to go down. Why? Because we're your big patrons here. You know what I'm saying? So ticket sales is going to go down. They're going to be vocal. Don't bring him here. No Kaepernick, no Kaepernick in Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? They're, whatever slogan you can, and they're going to have the media write some good catchy slogans that's going to make it off ESPN and every other sports channel to CNN. You know what I'm saying? And every news channel. And all they're going to do is sit up here and say, well, we don't want him here, the same way they was trying to do with but it kind of worked because on the low, they really wanted Mike Vick back. They really wanted Mike Vick in Philly. Well, you know what I'm saying?
He committed a crime. See, again, if you commit a crime and you do your time, is completely different. That's like having bad credit is better than having no credit. Makes no sense logically, but when you follow the money, it makes perfect sense at that point because you're not a debt risk. Do you see what I'm saying? Can't make any money off you because you ain't got no credit.
So
we're gonna make some money off you. So
now exactly. Now look at it this way, right? So when you have the okay, thank you, son. So when you have let's say this whole situation happening, right? And you have him finally back in there, and you've got the people. I mean, the controversy is going to be good for some kind of ticket sales because you're going to have two lines, but that line is not going to be very packed with people who really want Kaepernick back. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be more people like, hey, don't bring him here, don't bring him here. You know what I'm saying? That's where the big fight's going to come from. Why?
And
Because that system is still in place, and
that's why
they're the ones that uphold that system.
That's why
Say again.
Roger Goodell is the commissioner. He is the front man. Roger Goodell can toot the horn however he wants to toot the horn. He has no say. Like he said, I co-sign. I fully embrace. Not we the league.
Right.
Fully embrace as the commissioner.
Right.
I as the commissioner have no power because the Billionaire Boys Club behind me puts me in my position. If they say I'm out, I'm out. And they put somebody in here who'll do my job and do what they want to do. So at that point, it's like, okay, no problem. So how do we keep him out the league permanently? I come out. Hi, I'm Roger. I really co-sign and endorse, and I fully understand that we have systematically oppressed the Black American in the NFL. And I fully endorse Colin Kaepernick coming back into the league and feel that we should start those talks. Do you think the Billionaires Boys Club, who then cut Colin a check, is going to say, yeah, come on back in. We about it. Because for the reasons that Earth just spoke about is why they will not let him back in. Because so we didn't already cut this man up. We gave him the bag. And then we go let him back in and mess with our bag. Look here, man. I am a multi-billionaire for a reason. I make good business decisions. Kind of like slave ships. Is that a good business decision? Is that a good business decision? Let's just think about this here, people.
So there you go. I mean, so that's the conversation. You know what I mean? You still got the Billionaire Boys Club that holds the keys back into the career path that he dreamed of. You know what I'm saying? But here's what they're all fearing. My last statement on this is he gets back in. He's got all the support of the people. We get everything going, and they're systematically as a team piling back on the wins. He's making moves, and he gets all the way up to the big dance. And it's time to sing the Pledge of Allegiance. What if he does not stand again? Oh.
He ain't going to stand for the first game. It ain't going to take that long. It literally is going to happen as soon as he puts his pads on for the first game he was up for any team. It ain't going to get that far. Because, see, here's the thing. If he gets back in the league. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. No skin off my nose. But if he does get back in, it's going to happen from day one. Day one. His teammates are going to have to deal with it. His coaches are going to have to deal with it. The PR people are going to have to deal with it. Everybody going to have to deal with it, right? He's not the next coming. He is not Jesus Farnsworth. This is not Got Game. This he is not going to
Shuttleworth. Shuttleworth.
He is not going to save the day, people. No, he's not. Mind you, he was an entertaining quarterback. Was he good?
He wasn't even top notch.
But he wasn't great. So it's not like you sit on the shelf for 5 years. Mind you, this is football, and I don't give a damn how much he's practicing. He's not taking full reps. He ain't getting cracked. And 5 years ago, they didn't have guys, defensive ends, who weigh 260, 270, who are faster than him. They're there now. There are defensive ends and linebackers. Bruh, do you realize Micah Parsons runs a 4.29 40? He's a linebacker. He weighs 240 plus pounds. Even if he ran a 4.3 40 on a bad day, even good old Colin is getting snatched up. He didn't have that problem back in the day. There weren't, look, it's a different game. Like, okay, they let him back in. Look, either it's a setup, and he ain't gonna make it. Look, he ain't gonna survive. He just look.
What if there's a clause?
Yeah, look. My bad, man. I missed my block.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Oh, it's like the first Negro that got into the league all over again.
Oh,
like shit, they're gonna be setting dude up to get chop blocked and everything else, man. Look, I mean, but now what the only motivation I can see from the league to even let him back in is like, hey, if somebody takes him, that means the rest of the money goes back to us. If there's a clause in there like that. You know what I'm saying?
Look, he wouldn't. Think about it this way. They gave him the bag. That man could disappear for the rest of his natural born life. Do you see what I'm saying? And he good. He good. He makes more. Look, he makes more money sitting at home doing his little specials and this and that, and he's going to make it an NFL contract. Do you see what I'm saying? So at that point, for him to come back makes no sense. Yes, he still got that childhood idea, that dream, why he spent his whole life training as a kid in high school and college to come to the pros, and he gets drafted and he makes the league and he's doing his thing and he takes his team to the Super Bowl. Okay, quote unquote, the American dream, right? The sports American dream, right? He's already done that. So at that point, it's like, okay, so for him to come back, if that is a stipulation in the contract, we all know he's not wrapped too tight. Like, my man definitely is not wrapped too tight. Like, let's just call it what it is. Like, he can still make as much noise as he wants to make, as much noise as he's allowed to make per contract.
Go ahead and get you one.
You know, because they gave him the bag. Do you see what I'm saying? But seeing that they gave him the bag, he's coming back. He's supposed to come back.
That's the only,
and they're not going to let him in. And he knows they're not going to let him in.
Right, but that's the only thing. That's the only reason I could see them benefiting from like him coming back, is if there was a clause that said that, you know what I'm saying, you got to give up the money if you want your career back. Because if you think about it, that was collusion, is that they were all keeping him out. Now, if they all systematically came back in and said, all right, we'll let you back into the league, you come and play, you know what I'm saying, but you got to give up the dough. You know what I'm saying? How bad you really want it at this point. Because then they could wash their hands of the shit, be like, hey, we got him in, we got this, we got that. To me, even if he got in, something is going to happen, and I'm not wishing this on him. Something's going to happen to where he's not going to be able to do anything other than take a couple of snaps and sit on the sideline. They won't play him.
I'm going to be honest with you. Look, where's he going to play? He's not a drop back passer. He's a rollout guy. Mind you, his style was ahead of its time. His style was built for today's game. It really was. The only problem is Colin's not in his 20s no more. Do you see what I'm saying? So the game is now shifted, and you can't take somebody who's not a pocket passer and make him a pocket passer. Muscle memory. My man need to roll out. He need to be on the edge, and that's perfectly fine. But again, back when he was running to that edge, there weren't dudes who were faster. When I say faster, I'm talking like you got damn near 300-pound men that will smoke him in a 40. Not even close. I mean, smoke him in a 40 at close to 300 pounds, bro. Why do you think they came up with the Brady rule? Because they knew, like, yo, these dudes is on another level. Wow, like, yo, you guys can't be hitting these quarterbacks like that. No. Because look, if this was the game, if this was football 40 years ago, even 30 years ago, yeah, even 20 years ago, and Tom Brady even said, he's like, they didn't water down the game. I mean, look, I'm out there. I knew the job was dangerous when I took it. So if I get smashed, I get smashed. I got to learn how to take that, fall with it, roll with it, lean with it. I got to learn. That's the flow. If that's the case, then I need to learn how to get better, or I don't need to be in the league. He's come out and said it. The man's won 7 rings, bro.
Right.
7. That won't happen again. Why? Because guess what, people? These athletes are bigger, faster, stronger, which means your time in the league is getting shorter, 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 shorter. Average time in the league now depends on your position, and you might be in the league
Yep.
for 5 years. Colin been sitting for 5 years. That's a lot of dust to knock off one's butt. A lot of dust.
I mean, bruh. I mean, to me, you know what I mean. In 5 years, you talking about half a decade. The average player has grown faster, stronger, leaner, and meaner. You know what I mean. And even though even though they're soft, you know what I'm saying, in comparison to how they were once upon a time, it's really one of those situations where, they have a lot more going on differently now. So now, like you said, since they have so many different issues or so much speed, I mean, the training's different. I mean, and I'm not saying that Colin hasn't been keeping up, but here's the difference. The difference is just like Dragon Ball, you only get stronger as a Saiyan by getting your behind kicked. You know what I'm saying?
When was the last time he got hit? When was the last time he got literally blown?
A real hit, rocked.
Quarterbacks get blindsided a lot, which is why the offside guard is or tackle is paid a whole lot of money because he protects the franchise. Why? Because his back's turned and he can't see the guy coming. I mean, when was the last time he didn't got that like, oh, I'm in the bah.
Yeah.
Like that like where your body just literally shut down like you can't slam the quarterbacks, you can't drive them to the ground,
can't do nothing.
But at the same token, a blindside tackle is a blindside tackle, and if I form, fit, lift, and drive, that's legal. And bro, if he's
it's gonna hurt.
You ain't, man. Look, man, listen. Look here, man. Last I checked, you ain't got that type of cracking in 5 years. Your body, you might as well have a chiropractor right there on the sideline.
Right.
He can go out, call timeout. I'm retiring from the game, and just ride off into the sunset, literally, because that's exactly what it would be. It would be a ride off into the sunset type of deal.
Right.
Because there's just no way. Look, am I rooting for him? Yeah. I will always root for the underdog, man. I love the underdog. It's a hellified story at the end of the day.
It's Rudy.
Dude, every time, look, man, I done seen that movie well over 3 digits. Well over 3 digits. And every time I watch that movie, I cry. Why do I cry? Because if you play team sports, especially football, there's always been a Rudy on your team.
Right.
Always. Even basketball, team sports as a whole, there's always that Rudy who just ain't really got the physicals, but got more heart than anybody on the team. And but the physical aspects of it, look, they're too small, they're too big. You see what I'm saying? They're just, for whatever reason, just don't have the athletic ability, but the heart of 10 lions. We've all played with a guy like that, man. So you feel for that type of story. So I gotta root for it. Am I rooting for him? Am I rooting for Colin because of the social aspect? No. The political aspect? No. Why? Because it really don't make a hill of beans to me. It doesn't sign my checks. It doesn't give me any money. I really don't care. I really don't.
Right.
At the end of the day, will I root for the underdog in a sense of to see somebody who wants to come back, who wants to make their dream happen, whose new dream now is to come back and get back to the Super Bowl? Yeah, I'll root for that all day.
Yeah. So there you have it, people. That's Earth and Sky's take on this late breaking, hasn't really hit the press yet, but still out there in the news, atmosphere. Is the Colin Kaepernick situation. Is it going to make a rise back to prominence? Is it something going to happen? Will he get to a team? Will it matter in the end of the day? Is it going to change world peace? I doubt it. But, it'll be good entertainment. And once it picks up and catches steam in the media, guess what? You got your next distraction, folks. Get ready.
Facts. But yeah, people, you know what I'm saying? 210, some change. Thanks for hanging out with us. You know what I'm saying? We do what we do. Hell, we could keep going for the next 5 hours, but you know, that's a different Oprah. But
totally different Oprah. Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? But before we go, real quick, just want to give a quick shout out to Hustle Mart USA, United We Hustle.
Hustle.
You know what I'm
United
saying?
we hustle, divided
So
we struggle.
Got to give them a nice big shout out. So real quick, I'm just going to run their little promo ad. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. Peep the technique. Check them out on Facebook. Hustle Mart USA. That is Hustle Mart USA on Facebook. Check
Hustle Mart.
Yeah, people, go check out Hustle Mart. When I say they got everything, they got everything.
Now I'm gonna tell you what I had yesterday. Matter of fact, you saw me smoking it. I had a cigar, a conscious cigar, hand wrapped, and it was from. It wasn't a Perdomo. I mean, it wasn't a Maduro, but it was a really good taste, man. Had a nice little sweet little taste to it. Great aroma, and it's called Conscious. It was a conscious a cigar. And you know, which is a new local manufacturer here in Atlanta. And when I tell you, man, that thing was groovy. I'm talking about. I had it with a Glenlivet 14, which of course, anybody who knows there's greater Glenlivets up there, but it's a good Scotch. And when I tell you that my Heineken or my Stella, like I like them, and then of course that Conscious cigar, man. You need to go check out the Grand Fumé. You know what I'm saying?
Well, speaking of Grand Fumé, let's go ahead and bring them in. Now go check them out, people. They are actually in the same plaza.
Yes.
Right
off of Riverdale Road.
Yes.
In Atlanta. So
go check them out. Get our Facebook, Hustle Mart. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we just want to
and soon to come, Gorilla will be in Hustle Mart. So you will be able to go to 5499, I think it is. No, 5449 Suite C, Riverdale Road.
Suite A,
to get the Gorilla wear. It's going to be in that store. So if you're in the Atlanta area and you want to catch up on some of this fly Gorilla that we be rocking, I suggest you go ahead and do that. We'll be there shortly. At the top of the year, you can go ahead and look for it. That's a guarantee. Just had to throw that little plug in there for Gorilla and Hustle Mart. Because if you know what I'm saying, united we hustle, divided we struggle.
Facts.
Message.
Yep. All right, people. Well, good looking out. Thanks for being with us. You know how we do what we do. You know what I'm saying? We got to throw up two.
Click. Bam. Bow. Do you see?
You know how we do it.
Earth and Sky Jungle Journalists. Swinging the vine back another time.
That's what we do,
My
people.
man.
Until the next time.
Peace.